At the beginning of the film, bicycle shop owner Jan and photographer Pia meet in a park while walking their dogs. Falling in love, the couple starts dating. One day, Pia invites Jan to join her and her friends for their traditional board game night. Jan tells everything to Alex, his best friend and colleague. Alex is happy that his friend, who doesn't even have a college degree, is being invited to a wealthy neighborhood. He gives Jan a board game with questions and a gift for his new friends, a modern bicycle airbag. In the evening, Pia picks up Jan and takes him to the home of her friend Caro, who owns a successful furniture business. Caro's neighbor Feeper warns the guests about wild boars roaming around. Jan gives the airbag to Caro, who decides to try it on immediately. The airbag unexpectedly deploys, putting Jan in an awkward position. Then Jan meets Caro's husband, a teacher named Oliver, Caro's brother, a perpetual student named Kurt who lives in her house, and another friend of Pia's, a pharmacist named Sheila. After a while, Alex, who is walking Jan's dog, calls and asks if there is a pool at their house. Jan opens a window in one of the rooms to check, but a parrot unexpectedly flies out. Hearing Jan's story about a big white cockatoo, Alex thinks it's a code and that his friend is in danger. So Alex hangs up and decides to rush to him. Jan, worried about making a bad impression, returns to the table and says nothing about the bird. Then, receiving a message from Alex, Jan excuses himself to the bathroom but actually goes outside. Alex is relieved that his friend is safe. Despite his confusion, Jan asks the arriving Alex to find the escaped cockatoo. Meanwhile, the front door locks. To get inside, Alex has to use the slightly open kitchen window. There he unexpectedly encounters Caro's assistant, Gabriella, who has just come out of the shower. The situation becomes even more awkward when Caro enters the room for some guacamole. To cover up, Jan tells her that he just got lost. They then return to the table to continue playing games. Unexpectedly, a dentist named Matthias, Pia's ex, arrives. It turns out that Oliver invited his friend. Pia tells Jan that she didn't know Matthias was coming and they can leave if he wants, but Jan decides to stay, assuring her it's fine. Meanwhile, Alex uses the parrot singing on his phone to locate the cockatoo, but he steps into fresh concrete for a children's tower foundation and destroys it. At the table, Matthias meets Jan and immediately notices his cavities. The dentist recommends Jan make an appointment with him, though his schedule is busy. Matthias starts reminiscing about memorable moments from his relationship with Pia, with whom he was once engaged. He even connects his phone to the TV to show photos from their travels and then plays a song on the guitar. A while later, Alex, still without the cockatoo, texts Jan, asking for help getting out of a boar trap in Feeper's garden. Jan rescues his friend and then returns to the game table. The turn finally comes to play the game that Jan brought. According to the rules, various questions are asked, such as who would be able to play naked table tennis, defeat a predator, and so on. Participants write down the name of the person they think can do it. Oliver, unhappy that his name is mostly written in a negative context, dresses up in an elf king costume and sits down to play online computer games. Meanwhile, Alex, having met Gabriella, brings Jan a white bird, only to discover that he has mistaken a cockatoo for a pigeon. Finally, unable to tolerate Matthias's teasing about his lack of erudition, Jan calls him a blabbermouth. Matthias responds by challenging Jan to a game of table tennis, with the loser having to drink a bottle of hot sauce. Jan agrees. In a close match in front of the spectators, Jan manages to win. Defeated, Matthias drinks the sauce but then feels sick. Pia is unhappy with Jan's behavior, feeling that he went too far since she liked him for his easygoing nature. She tells Jan that she is not a trophy. Jan, upset that Pia dragged him into these rich people's foolish games, calls Alex and decides to leave the party. Outside, they realize Alex has lost the key. Returning to Feeper's garden to search, they both get caught in the boar trap, not noticing it had been reset. Frightened, Alex is worried about dying now that their shop is just starting to make a profit. Suddenly, they hear a gunshot. Feeper appears holding the cockatoo. However, it turns out that he just put the parrot to sleep with a tranquilizer dart, as it wouldn't have survived otherwise. There are many cats around. Feeper then frees the trapped young men. Meanwhile, Matthias, who also left, calls Pia and tells her she's perfect. Pia hears the voice of his car's GPS and realizes Matthias is heading to the zoo. Fearing he might cause trouble, Pia, Caro, and Oliver rush to the zoo. Alex and Jan bring the parrot home but find only Kurt there since everyone else has gone to save Matthias. They decide to go to the zoo as well, using a bicycle and an electric scooter. Everyone meets at the zoo, but Matthias is nowhere to be found. They find his phone lying in a tiger enclosure. Jan bravely decides to go down but doesn't find anyone. He only wakes up the tiger. Struggling to climb out, Jan apologizes to Pia, saying he was just scared of losing her. Pia reassures him that she has no feelings for Matthias and that she has feelings for Jan. Meanwhile, Kurt borrows a rope from the monkeys, and they manage to pull Jan up just in time. Matthias unexpectedly appears, explaining that he dropped his phone while taking a selfie. The group then returns home. Sometime later, Jan and Pia are happily living together. One day, Oliver, Caro, Sheila, and Kurt surprise them with a visit to play games. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on new videos. Thanks for watching.